Every person on this planet wants a home. People need shelter, and every family, every individual wants a home. And there's a small group of people that are actually helping humanity achieve that goal of home ownership. And those are the real estate agents. No one's taking care of the real estate agent. People do not treat agents the way they need to be treated. Agents did not have the opportunities that could be created for them. And for me, that was a calling. I decided that I want to dedicate the rest of my life to take care or build better futures for real estate agents in America, because those are the people that are enabling consumers to buy and sell homes.
You're listening to the number one real estate podcast in the world, where we talk with real estate professionals all across North America and the world about their wins, losses, lessons, stories, help you win in your local market today. My name is Cody from Sheridan Street. I'm joined with the Vikram Deal of the Real Estate Sales Academy. My man, how are you doing? This is a very, very special episode. This is episode 100 of the RE Agent Podcast, the RE Agent Podcast. My man, what's happening?
I think we give some applause to that. I can't, it's surreal to think that this was a dream that Sharon and I and you were talking about last year. And he threw it out there. He's like, why don't you guys do a podcast? And I'm like, oh yeah, we could do one. I was thinking like twice a week. And Sharon's like, yeah, and I want you to post it every day. I was like, every day? Like we could make a post every day? He's like, no, I want you to record an episode every day. And I want you to be at 365 episodes, December 25th of 2023. I was like, okay, sure. You don't say no to Sharon, but at the same time, I'm like, Sharon, we are not fully set up to do this. We were having a hard time keeping our once a week podcast up and running. So big props to the teams and your team and my team for getting this done. But yeah, it's 100 episodes, man. And we started in December.
Yeah. I think we launched December 1st of 2022 and like we're at 100 episodes already. And it's like, it's just crazy. Like the level of, quality of guests we've had on the show over the last 100 episodes, and just the ability to chat with like really good people that share very similar ethos to us in business and life. And it's like, it seems like we're attracting the real estate agent, the real estate team lead that really wants to make a large impact in their local community. And being able to sit down with them, understand that, get in their heads. Like, I really do think that anyone listening to this podcast today, if this is your first time tuning in, I would encourage you to go back through a lot of these episodes that we have had the opportunity to interview over the last year, and just like
4 months.
4 months. I know it feels like a year. 4 months. And just soak in the information, because there's so much valuable information that's working in the market today. And that's what I love about this podcast, is everyone we sit down with, from open house strategy to cold calling strategy to team lead strategy, so many strategies and so many ideas that can really help you grow your business. And when we started this podcast, that was really what we wanted. We wanted to give people strategies and tactics to win in the market today. So Vikram, my man, who do we have with us today? We have a very special guest.
Just a special someone, Sharon's like, bro, you guys have to give him like a big episode. And I thought it was going to be 150. I thought it was going to be in like 45 days, and we were going to record today, but we realized yesterday in our meeting that we were at episode 99 today, and I'm like, guys, can we make this happen? And they're like, yeah. So we actually have I guess he's the CEO, he's the founder, he's the head honcho of one of the fastest growing publicly traded real estate company, but he came from humble beginnings, just a lonely construction worker out on the prairie, just doing his thing. And then he got into sales. He got his degree. He actually started an investment company. And when he sold his investment companies, when he decided to start this little company called Real. But today we have the founder, the CEO of Real, the person that started the brokerage, which I'm a part of, and 9,900, well, probably more than that now, but 10,000 plus other agents. And I guess first off, welcome Tamir Poleg to the RE Agent Podcast. It's the number one real estate agent podcast in the entire world.
Thank you, guys. Excited to be here and honored to be on episode 100. That's a big honor.
We are more than honored to have you, because this is way better than a Cody solo episode, which is what was scheduled originally. We are super excited. So I know when we were chatting in the green room kind of about your transition from your real estate investment company into the foundation of starting Real, you had said something that I think really resonates with Sharon, with Cody, with myself around business and how to build it. But, when you got into Real, or when you founded Real, because Real's been around since 2014. A lot of people probably don't know that. What was your thought process of trying to create a better brokerage model for agents?
Sure. So in my past, I was working for tech companies. I own my own real estate company. I knew I'm super passionate about real estate, and I knew that I wanted to converge technology and real estate. And as I was looking at the industry, I realized that at the end of the day, every person on this planet wants a home. People need shelter, and every family, every individual wants a home. And there's a small group of people that are actually helping humanity achieve that goal of home ownership. And those are the real estate agents. And as I was looking at the industry in our country, in the US, I felt like no one's taking care of the real estate agent. I felt like people do not treat agents the way they need to be treated. I felt like agents did not have the opportunities that could be created for them. And for me, that was a calling. I decided that I want to dedicate the rest of my life to take care or build better futures for real estate agents in America, because those are the people that are enabling consumers to buy and sell homes. So for me, that was somewhat of a calling.
So that's like a very large thought process, right? And I like where you say, like, nobody takes care of real estate. Like, everybody thinks of real estate agents as a commodity. And I think real estate agents tend to get the short end of the stick, and they work long hours. They work hard hours. They work all day. They work all night. They work weekends. They spend time away from their family. And I agree, the agents that work hard, they work exceptionally hard. What makes you think that nobody was out there, like, brokerage wise, right? I've always said this because I've been a part of many brokers. I said most brokerages are broken, and the models are no longer supporting the agent the way that the modern day agent, this was 2012, 13, 14, when I got in the business. I resonate with that very, like, on a soul level, that the agents don't. But what makes you think, like, when you were there, because you weren't in real estate per se, you were an investor in real estate, you weren't selling real estate. So how did you come to that conclusion that these people were being abused?
I think that
or not abused, but not treated the way that the way that they should for the amount of work they put into a transaction.
Yeah. I've closed hundreds of transactions throughout my career, and every time I work with agents. So I clearly understand the value that agents bring. I understand exactly what they do, how hard they work, and how critical they are for the transaction. And when I started thinking about Real, I asked myself, if you were in the shoes of that agent, and I actually put a face to the story, like people that I knew, I asked myself, what are my alternatives as an agent? Like, if I go to company A or company B, and I don't want to say anything negative about any company, I think that there are great companies in our field, but as an agent, what does this company or this company actually offer me? Is this enough? Is this a place for me that I can actually build a great career in? Is this providing me enough opportunities? Are they truly caring about me, or am I just a number? Do they truly care about me, about my family, about me getting or reaching my goals? And I just, the answers that I gave myself were just so disappointing. And at that point in time, I just realized that someone needs to do it. And I wanted to be that someone. And I just felt that there's just tremendous room for improvement on the brokerage side. And when there's enough gap or enough room for improvement, there's an opportunity.
To want to help humanity own a home, it's very hard to not share an ethos of humans over homes. You have attracted, in my view, because I chat with them on a daily basis, some of the most collaborative and some of the most impact focused agents with the 10,000 plus agents you have that are just putting people first. That requires a big vision for your business. And I'm curious, how has your vision from 2014 today, how has your vision for your business changed from 2014 to today? What does that look like today, and what does that look like going forward in the future?
I think it changed very little. So when we actually started the company, we were super focused on the product, and we had engineers coming in the morning, working all day. We had product people. And as they came into the office, there was a huge sign above the door saying, always find ways to make agents' lives better. This is what the engineers saw every morning when they came to work. And this is exactly what we're thinking about when we wake up in the morning today. So I think that in terms of trying to build better futures for agents or finding ways to make agents' lives better, it's still the same. And I think that this is the North Star of this company. And as you said, yes, we have attracted great partners that are just willing to share. I think that what's unique about Real is the fact that people here care about each other. And I think that it started in the very early days. So, at the beginning, I was doing the attraction calls, I was doing the ads, I was doing the support, I was answering support tickets, support phone, everything. And I just couldn't go to sleep at night knowing that there's an agent waiting for an answer, or an agent that wasn't paid and they closed a transaction today and they just needed a correction on their CDA. So I just didn't go to sleep until I knew everything was resolved. And as we added more employees and added more agents, I think that culture remained of just caring and understanding what agents go through and truly caring about them. And I think that the agents that we attracted, the partners that we attracted, all of those highly influential agents that everybody knows, have that special DNA of wanting everyone around them to succeed and truly caring about them, because people understand, or people know that if they succeed, I succeed, or we collectively succeed. Going back to the vision, I think that there's a huge problem/risk in the brokerage world. And the problem is that, yes, we need to create an amazing offering and amazing opportunities for agents. But if you truly care about agents, you need to truly care about their clients. And I think that our industry as a whole, and I'm not excluding us, Real, hasn't created anything meaningful to change the way people buy or sell homes. So if you go through a home buying journey right now, it's actually similar to the experience that people had 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And I think that that's actually a huge risk, because it means that we're stagnant as an industry. And if we're stagnant, there's risk that somebody from the outside will come in, look at this opportunity and say, hey, I think that I have a better way. And right now there's so much money that is willing to back innovation that a good idea with sufficient funding eventually can get it. iBuyers were trying to do that on the sell side. Clearly not yet a proven model, but it just shows an attempt. And I think that this is a risk, because if we as an industry do not innovate, somebody will come and innovate and probably will wipe us all out. So I think that our vision is evolving to also take care of the consumer. And I'll just give you an example. If you think about the average person, people don't wake up in the morning saying, I want a real estate agent, or I want to have a real estate agent, or I want to have a mortgage, or I want a title policy, or I want to live month in anxiety until a transaction closes. People want a home. That's the product. This is the desire. An agent, a mortgage, title policy, closing, all of those things are just building blocks or steps in a way to getting to the thing that they want. They want a home. So how can we deliver a home to them without complicating everything, without all of the friction, without the process taking month and month, without all of the anxiety? And I think that there's sufficient technology right now that if we couple it with the human component, with the agents, with this trusted advisor, we can create an amazing home buying experience that will completely change how homes are transacted. So for us, yes, we continue to build a brokerage and an amazing offering for agents, but we also want to provide our agents with this edge, this technology that will enable them to offer their clients a very different experience when they're going through a home buying journey.
When it comes to tech and it comes to the things that are available in the marketplace, there's an element of there's a lot of options out there, and there's a lot of tools that can help us. Like we were chatting off air about ChatGPT and like using AI and how AI is going to impact even potentially the real estate industry. I'm curious to know, because this happens a lot, and I think that a lot of agents and teams, as they grow, they lose things along the way. I'm curious to know how you're looking at the future with Real as a brokerage, like that you're at 10,000 agents now. How do you get to 40 to 50,000 agents? Or how does a business potentially scale to 100 agents without losing its core culture and its core fundamentals, or the things that make Real what it is today? Like how do agent and team leads do that, go to 40, 50 agents on their team without losing the initial culture, like, which you've already done yourself, but how do they do that?
So, culture is about people. It's not about technology. It's not about processes. It's about people. And I was asked this same question when we were at 500 agents, and I was asked, okay, when you get to 1,000 agents or 5,000 agents, how do you make sure that you preserve this special culture? And I said, there's no way to guarantee it. There's a way to control what kind of people you're bringing in as partners, especially in the early days. And people attract like-minded people. So if you bring in the right partners at the beginning, it's very likely that they will attract a certain kind of people that share the same DNA or core values, at least. So I think that we have done a good job at attracting the right kind of people, and I think that we have a very solid foundation. And we also have a way to push out the people that maybe do not really fit. But I'll give you an example. I was born in Israel. I'm Israeli. If you stand in a line in Israel, it doesn't look like a line. It looks like a group of people all trying to get to the front. And they're pushing and they're aggressive, and it's just a complete mess. But if an Israeli goes to the US and there's a line at Starbucks, they just stand in line quietly, peacefully, and they comply with the rules. And I think that the same happens or is happening at Real, because we have that solid foundations of thousands of people that are just great, and they all behave or act or think in a certain way. Then even if someone from the outside is coming, they're very likely to become a part of the group and conform with the group standards, as opposed to just doing something very different. So I think that it's about people and making sure that you're attracting the right people. And sometimes, yes, you say no, or politely tell people, we don't think that this is the perfect opportunity for you. And we have done that.
So as you guys are like starting out, right? And now you guys are bigger, right? You're not, I don't know exactly what your role is, but you have taken a different role. You've brought in Sharon. He's taking a different role. You've brought in leaders that are taking different roles. So a lot of the things that you did in the early days are no longer on your plate, correct? How do you continue to attract now that you guys are scaling? Like, and I know you kind of answered it in the last question. So how do you make sure that your leadership people are on the right page always? Because I think a lot of problems that smaller teams have when they're trying to scale to their next level, maybe that's, getting to the double digit size, or maybe they're going from double digits and they're trying to get to the 50th or the 100th, things start to really change. And when you realize that somebody's not part of your culture, right? And for you, somebody who's so passionate about the agent, right? I don't know that I've spoken to as many people who are so passionate about the agent's journey as you are. So it's, it makes sense why Real is the way that it is. But how do you have those difficult conversations with people that are in a very high position, or maybe it's a big team that has got a lot of industry clout, that you have to go and say, hey, like, so to bring it back home for the team leader, how do you talk to that big agent and tell them, hey, we can't bring you on because you're not the right fit. Or you have to let go of that admin that's been on your team for 3.5 years because you realize, wait a minute, we're rowing the different directions.
So finding the right people is probably one of the most difficult tasks when you're building and scaling a business. And also people that were a great fit at the beginning, maybe they're not a great fit now because you need different kind of expertise and different kind of scale. But we have one thing that we monitor very carefully, and we call it GASF, give a shit factor, especially on leadership. And this is something that's super important to Sharon, to Pritesh, our CTO, to myself, to Michelle, our CFO. We want people who give a shit. We want people who talk to agents day in and day out. They understand exactly how agents think, how agents will react if we introduce a change, and people who, at the end of the day, understand that they serve the agents. And it starts and ends with a give a shit factor. And this is something that we do not compromise. So yes, when we see that somebody doesn't GASF, then that person will be out. It's as simple as that. And yes, we have had executives coming into the company from other great companies, but they looked at agents as numbers. Sometimes you make the mistake of saying, okay, we have 10,000 agents, then, what's another agent? Or if that agent has a problem, then what can we do? Like, it's just a number. No, it's a person, it's a business, it's a family, it's a life. And that's how you need to look at it. And if you can go to sleep at night knowing that someone has a problem and you had the opportunity to fix it, but instead of fixing it, you went to the gym, then you probably don't belong here.
I have a lot of respect for that statement right there. The give a shit factor is huge in every business that does well, I think. When you attracted somebody like Sharon, right, what is the attraction model? Because Cody and I are friends with Sharon. We're blessed to have him in our ecosystem. But what does a business do to attract top talent like a Sharon? Because he obviously gives a shit about everything he does. So he obviously gave a shit about joining. But how would you recommend people to attract somebody that's top tier talent like that?
So Sharon came in as the president of Real, and we were not looking for a president. We were not looking for somebody in that position. But I got to know Sharon, and I think that there was an immediate connection between us personally. So, we like each other, and you always ask yourself, am I going to enjoy working and building and, sharing my life with that individual? So I checked the box very, very early on in the process. But I think that if you think about Sharon has been dedicating his life to the success of real estate agents in this country for as long as he can probably remember himself. And this is exactly the right platform for somebody like this, because this is exactly what we do. And I think that for Sharon, he was semi-retired. He had a lot of things going on. He was helping a lot of agents. I think that when we had the conversations, he realized that he can have a much bigger impact. So he can actually change more lives if he becomes a part of Real. And that's the win-win that was created. Again, I was not trying to find someone. I think that it was just the perfect match between the right platform and the right individual. And I'm super, super happy that he joined us, by the way. I think that, he brings tremendous value to the company, to the agents, just an amazing asset.
Something that I've come to learn over the last couple of years is, through Sharon, is selling is simply a function of serving. And you embody that, you echo that in everything that you've said so far today around even how you've built Real as a culture. When you're sitting down and speaking with an agent that might be struggling to understand that selling is simply a function of serving, or they're chasing that next deal, but they potentially want to change their perspective and shift their mindset. How do you recommend somebody get out of the commission breath mentality of I need the next sale to kind of shift their mindset towards a level of service? Is that something you learn over time? Is that something that you've always had innately, and how do you teach that, or is it even teachable?
It's not easy. I believe that it is teachable. And, I've been in sales for many, many, many years. At the end of the day, you have to think about the value that you're bringing or creating to that person that you're trying to serve, as you said. And you also have to have a long-term mindset. Like being focused on the next sale is not a good strategy. You have to be focused on building a business or building a long-term sustainable business. You have to always think bigger. And it also applies to real. Like, we're at 10,000 agents. Some people will stop here and say, you know what, we've made it. We're a top 10 brokerage. Let's stop or let's slow down. I think that it's about understanding the value that you can bring to that individual, being able to explain and not being focused on the short term. And it's not easy because people still need to have a living. People need to pay their bills. But I think that if you go over that initial few months of gap, then all of a sudden it opens a huge sea of opportunities for you. But again, it's not easy to teach people how to sell also. Some people have it, some people don't have it. And there are many, many kinds of salespeople. So, yeah.
What are the top 3 things that you would give as an agent for advice right now that would help them win in their local market today? Like, what is something that they can do currently that will help them make a larger impact in their community, be future focused, and essentially allow them to do more in their local community that will essentially help them grow their business? What is that top tactic?
Yeah, it's a tactical question, and actually Sharon is great at those tactical questions. We had our first ever online conference yesterday and today, as you know. And one of the things that I said there is that during a downturn, returns are muted. So, you're investing in relationships, you're buying leads, you're nurturing those leads, you're putting processes in place, you're investing in systems, but you're not seeing the results. And this is what I believe a lot of agents and teams are experiencing right now. Like you do so much work, but the results are not there. And we're seeing that as a business as well. But when the market picks up, the returns are going to be exponentially better than now. So the things that you are now doing and getting very frustrated with the fact that, hey, this is not working, it is working. You're just not seeing it. You will see it in a year from now. In a year from now, you will be thriving because of all of those actions that you're taking right now. So don't slow down, don't stop. Continue to build those relationships, continue to invest in leads, continue to build your database, continue to invest in marketing, continue to do videos, all of those things. Just think about that as a longer term investment. It's not going to materialize in a week or in a month, but in a year from now, your business will be thriving, and I can guarantee that. So I would say that this is my advice to the agents.
You're tilling the ground, prepping the soil. I would like to take the last portion of our conversation today, and I would like to see what your visions are with Real, and how do you see Real impacting the industry moving forward?
That's a big question. So let's go back to what I started saying about the vision. Let's think about Amazon, and I'm not using any cliche of Real is the Amazon of real estate. We're not. But think about Amazon. What did Amazon do to e-commerce and consumers in general? When you go on Amazon and you buy a shirt, for example, it's the same shirt that you can actually get in a store. But what Amazon did is that they used existing building blocks. And those building blocks were 3 mainly. One was the internet, which was a way to actually communicate with consumers. The second was credit cards that enabled payments, online payments. And the third was delivery using UPS, for example. All of those building blocks were in place. So someone actually did the heavy lifting before Amazon was born. Amazon didn't have to invent the internet or credit cards or UPS or delivery companies. It was already there. What they did is they took those building blocks and they created a layer of experience on top of them. A layer of experience that delivered convenience, speed, control, transparency, just ease and joy. This is what Amazon did. And, they became like this giant company because of that way of thinking. If you try and apply that analogy or knowledge to real estate, then a real estate transaction consists of three main building blocks. Brokerage services, working with an agent, identifying a home, getting educated. Mortgage, a way to actually pay for the home. And then title and escrow that helps close the transaction. What we're lacking in real estate is this layer of experience. And everyone that came into the industry trying to disrupt or change it thought that they can do that by eliminating the agents. And I think that was the biggest mistake. There's a way to create a layer of experience and keep the agents in the center of the transaction. So for me, if I'm thinking about the vision for real, is changing the way people buy homes using a combination of technology and agents by applying a layer of experience on top of those building blocks. And this is why we now own the brokerage. We also own a title company. We own a mortgage company as well. And now what's left is actually building this experience.
Tamir, wrapping up here, I just want to say thank you more than anything. Thank you for taking time with us today to chat with us about your vision for the future and just what agents can do in order to shift perspective, shift mindset so that they can win today. If somebody would want to reach out to you or want to follow you on social, where is the kind of the best place that we can direct them in order to learn a little bit more about what Real is doing and maybe they can follow your journey as well?
Sure. So probably Instagram is going to be the best place. I'm Tamir Poleg on Instagram, TAMIRPOLEG. Just follow me, shoot me a DM. One of the things that I'm almost religious about is being accessible. So I'm always available, always responding, always scheduling conversations. So don't hesitate to reach out.
Dear Tamir, from the bottom of Vikram and I's heart, we want to say thank you for taking it down. On episode 100 of the RE Agent Podcast, I want to say thank you for tuning into another episode. Really does mean the world to us. The only ask we make is that if you got any value of today's episode, you leave us a review on iTunes. It means the world to us. Helps us reach more real estate agents, make a larger impact in their local communities through information, through wins, losses, lessons, stories. I want to say thank you for tuning in another episode of the RE Agent Podcast, the #1 podcast in the world. We'll see you soon.